This is an introduction to the 6th ion quiz, bromate through permanganate. I must emphasize that you should not watch this video unless you have watched the introduction to ion quiz 5, because this is going to use many of the same explanations, but I'm not going to explain them in detail here because they are already explained in detail in video for ion quiz 5. Because this uses many of the same tricks. You'll notice that we have perbromate, bromate, bromite, hypobromite, nitrate, nitrate, and permanganate. So almost all of these, 4 of the 7, are brome ions, so they of course contain bromine, as you'll see over here. And they are 8-ite, so they contain oxygens as well, and then they follow our nice little rule. So we're going to learn the ones that start with ATE and those, that end in ATE, bromate, nitrate, and we're going to ignore the ones that have the prefixes, per prefixes. We're just going to memorize nitrate is NO3-1 and that bromate is BrO3-1. One thing you may begin to notice that everything from last week and everything from this week is element O3-1 for your ATE ions, so it would be tempting to just assume that that was always true. It is not. We'll see in the future that there are some 8 ions that have 4 oxygens and some that have charges of -2 or -3, but so far that works, and if you always guessed that that was true, you would be right about 75% of the time. But it's better to learn what they actually are. So our trend is the same as before. We add an O, bromate, BrO3, add an O, and now we are at perbromate. Remove an O instead, and instead of becoming perbromate, you keep no prefix and just say bromite. The 8 becomes an ite. Take another one off and you get your hypo just like before. We've learned our nitrate ion, NO3-1. Take one off, take an oxygen off, and you have your nitrite ion. And so it's summarized down here. So if you have chlorate or bromate or nitrate and you remove an O, then it becomes the same thing with an ite ending. Chlorate or bromate becomes bromite. Bromite, or if you remove another O, becomes hypobromite. I didn't mention this in the first video, but hypo, the prefix hypo, actually means the opposite of hyper. Hyper means elevated. Hypo means lowered. So if you're hypoglycemic, you would have low blood sugar. Hypothyroidism has low thyroid hormone. And so that's why hypo is associated with losing another oxygen. It's associated with very low levels of oxygen in the ion. And then if you have the ATE ending, but you add an oxygen to it, then you got your per. So that's where bromate becomes perbromate. I give more examples and talk in more detail about those in the video for ion quiz number 5. The last thing that I'll mention here is permanganate, which really is kind of a standalone ion. It's not part of a family or a series. You just kind of have to memorize it. The per, you might say, well, that means an extra oxygen, but manganate is not on our ion sheet, so that's all kind of pointless. We can just kind of, well, if it helps you, many of our other pers have 4 oxygens, and so you can just kind of associate that per prefix with 4 oxygens, and that'll get you there most of the time. And so that one you just got to kind of learn. It's a standalone ion. Some things you just got to kind of memorize. Do be careful though. Permanganate, people have trouble spelling it. It's got the word man in the middle. Manganate. Not to be confused with magnesium. People often get manganese and magnesium confused. Man. Permanganate. This is manganate. So we've got our Mn, not our Mg. Please don't confuse the two.